Hello and welcome into this week's ARCA Menards Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, remember we are in our hashtag Race to 1K, so if you haven't subscribed yet, go down below, hit that subscribe button for me. It is free to do, and it gets us that much closer to 1,000 subscribers, at which time we will be able to do mobile live streaming and give you much better live coverage from the track. So definitely hit that subscribe button to help us get closer to that. The quicker we get there, the quicker we can do so much more for you from the track. And as an example, if you didn't see our post-race recap last night live from the track, it is linked down below in the description. We kind of discussed the race a little bit more than we're going to in today's Rewind show, and that will be the norm once we are able to do live streaming from the track. We'll have a discussion with you live from the track immediately following the race. So the quicker we get to 1,000 subscribers, the quicker we can do things like that, and a whole lot more. I have many other ideas for things that we can do live from the track. That is just the one that is a little more readily available now that we don't necessarily have to do live. It'll be better when it's live, but we don't necessarily have to do it live. Since we kind of discussed last night's race already in last night's recap from the track, we're not going to discuss it so much today as we are just go into the finer details of the race. This was the fifth race of the 2020 ARCA Menards Series schedule. The Calypso Lemonade 200 laps, 137 miles, around the 5/8 mile. Lucas Oil Raceway in Brownsburg, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. My personal favorite track. I love this track. 3 cautions for a total of 15 laps in this race. 2 of them were for the scheduled breaks in this race. We only had 1 caution for an incident, and that was for Taylor Gray on lap 128 as he was trying to pass Michael Self in turns 1 and 2, ended up looping the car, kind of put them both into the wall. Self was able to get by, although he did lose a spot to Sam Mayer in the scuffle, was able to keep it straight and keep going. Gray, on the other hand, actually looped the car and had to rebound from that for the rest of the night. That was the only caution for an incident all night. Only 2 lead changes in this race. Chandler Smith, Ty Gibbs, the only 2 drivers, 2 lead laps in this race. Ty Gibbs led the first 38 laps after starting on the outside pole, getting the jump on the first lap. Pole sitter Chandler Smith took the lead back from him on lap 39 and never looked back after that point. Chandler Smith put on a clinic, his second in a row victory from the Lucas Oil Raceway, and there was no denying he was going to win this race. Although, give credit where credit is due, Sam Mayer really caught him at the end of this race. Sam Mayer took second with about 35 laps to go and cut the lead from 3 seconds to nothing in about 20 laps. 10 laps to go, he was there. Unfortunately, I think he used up his stuff trying to get there and was not able to make the pass on Chandler Smith. Did make an attempt at it. They were side by side at one point, but unfortunately Mayer not able to complete the pass and had to settle for the second position. Hailie Deegan with a very strong run on the night, possibly the fastest car at the end of the race. She was definitely catching the leaders when they were in their battle. Unfortunately, she was so far behind at that point after taking the 3rd position that there was just no way she was going to be able to track them down at that point. But very promising run for Hailie Deegan, a track that she did very well at last season, finishing in the 5th position for Venturini Motorsports last season. Taylor Gray, after his incident in the middle of the race, rebounded to a solid 4th place finish. Taylor Gray really impressed me last night. I think we're going to see a lot of great things out of Taylor. Honestly, what his brother Tanner said seems to be coming true. Tanner has been very vocal about saying that if you think I'm good, talking about Tanner, wait till you see my little brother. Taylor really kind of is showing that right now. I think he needs a few more races under his belt. I think the incident with Michael Self was a bit of inexperience on his part, but he showed a lot of talent tonight, and I think once he gets the rough edges kind of smoothed out here, I think we've got a really good race car driver on our hands here with Taylor Gray. Thad Moffitt rounded out the top 5 to put all 3 DGR Crosley cars in the top 5. A great night for them. Rest of your top 10, Max McLaughlin, Brett Holmes, Michael Self, cut a left, I believe it was a left rear tire late in the race after his battle with Hailie Deegan for third. Had to come down pit road and get that changed. Ended up 2 laps down in the 8th position. Not the night he deserved nor wanted, I'm sure. Ran solid top 3, top 4 all night. 8th, definitely not indicative of where Michael Self ran all night. Howie DiSavino, 9th, and Kyle Segan, his first ARCA Menards Series start, came home in the 10th position. Final page 11th through 20th. Derek Griffith was as high as 5th at one point in this race. Unfortunately, mechanical issues plaguing him all night. Both scheduled breaks. That team had the hood up on that car, and mechanical issues just did him in this race. Unfortunately, was not able to showcase how good he was probably going to finish in this race, and ended up in the 12th position. Drew Dollar also ending up with mechanical issues late in this race. On the second break, had the hood up for a while and ended up in the 14th position, 15 laps off the pace. Ty Gibbs, with his engine issue in the mid portion of the race, came home 110 laps down in the 15th position. So that's your results from the Calypso Lemonade 200. Working on a Chandler Smith interview to talk about this race. Not sure how soon or if that's going to happen. Always seems to be difficult to get interviews with Chandler for whatever reason. So keep working on that for you. If you do see that, it will be within the next day or two. So make sure your notifications are turned on after you have subscribed, and you'll know when that interview does come out. But let's go ahead and take a look at your point standings for the ARCA Menards Series now, following Lucas Oil Raceway, 5 races into the 2020 season. Michael Self still leads, now with an 11-point lead over Hailie Deegan. He's gapped his teammate Drew Dollar just a little bit after Dollar's disappointing run and mechanical issues in Indianapolis. Dollar now sits third, 18 points back. Brett Holmes and Thad Moffitt are interesting here because neither one of them, I thought at the beginning of the season, were going to run the full season. But so far through 5 races, both of them have run every race. So I'm not sure if things have changed there and we actually have 5 drivers running for the championship now. But right now, Brett Holmes sits 4th, 21 points back, only 3 points out of that 3rd spot from Drew Dollar. And then Thad Moffitt there in 5th, 39 points back, has also run every race so far. So we might have 5 drivers going for the championship now. At the beginning of the season, it looked like it was only 3 between Self, Deegan, and Dollar, but Holmes and Moffitt might have thrown their hats into the ring now as well. I need to confirm that. I'll do a little digging and see if we can figure that out before the next race. But of course, Chandler Smith, with his 2 wins thus far this season already, only 5 races in, he already has won 2 races. Sits in 6th, having not even run 2 of the 5 races so far this season. So a very hot start to the season for Chandler Smith. Not all that surprising, but very hot start nonetheless. Then we see Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer down there breaking into the top 10 as well after their races on Friday night. But that's your point standings following the Calypso Lemonade 200, and I believe that'll do it for us on this ARCA Rewind show. Remember, if you want to see more of a discussion about what happened in this race, it is linked down below in the description with our post-race recap we did from the track immediately following this race. ARCA West coming up tonight from Irwindale, 9 p.m. We will have a watch party for that, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will have a watch party for that race, so come on out and watch that race with us and talk about it as it happens. Rewind show probably tomorrow morning because that race is going to end up so late. It's going to be very hard to do that tonight. So that rewind show will probably be tomorrow morning as well, but keep an eye out for that. We got to cut at least one NASCAR Heat 4 stream coming up today, probably right around the time this gets uploaded. May have a second one after the Xfinity race, trying to get that finished before NASCAR Heat 5 comes out. So come on out and join us and see what kind of fun we can get into in that race. If you haven't subscribed already, remember hashtag race to 1K. It is free to do. Just go down there, hit that subscribe button, help us get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can do our mobile live streaming from the track and improve your coverage of ARCA and NASCAR races immensely. While you're down there subscribing, make sure you hit that bell for notifications and hit that big thumbs up button for me if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the ARCA Menards Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.